everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Outside Line Podcast. The Outside Line Podcast. Outside Line Podcast.
Hang on to her, buddy. There's still three. He got him. He's
It just makes sense. It's too logical for them, for NASCAR, though.
Carson.
I'm glad you hear us, NASCAR. Make sure you keep listening. We'll see what happens. I'm going to take a breath here. That was a long rant.
Those cars are a lot tougher than an F1 car.
Yeah, that's what I like about IndyCar. You really need the spotter.
This is going to be fun.
So it was announced literally right after we recorded. I think it was Tuesday. Maybe it was Monday. I don't know. That Joe Gibbs Racing and Denny Hamlin signed a multi-year extension with each other. This basically confirms the rumors of Hamlin going to 2311 and 2311 going to Ford have been shut down for right now. Do we see Hamlin finishing up his career at JGR, or can we see him when his contract is up at JGR going to 2311 and driving for himself?
I think he wants to drive for himself before it's all said and done, because he was really expressing interest and even seeming like he was looking forward to it in interviews I've noticed in pre-race and post-race and in the middle of the week. So, yeah, I could see him driving for himself.
Mason, what do you think about this?
I wouldn't be surprised. It's not something that would shock me, but at the same time, I just feel like with Denny, he belongs with JGR, and that relationship is something that's always been established. He's been there since his rookie year, and it just feels right for him to be at home there and to be a JGR. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say that I'd be shocked if he goes and races somewhere else. My favorite driver did the exact same thing. However, we've reached that point where if that was going to happen, I feel like it would have been right now. We've reached that point where, like, if he's going to go there and try and race for his own team, he's never going to be better than what he is right now. And so I just don't think it's worth it at that point to then try and switch teams when he's probably never going to be as good as he is right at this moment, or he may not even be as good as he was a couple years ago. So you have to take that into account of where can I win best at, and going over to his own team, while it's awesome, it may take him some time. It might not be an immediate thing. And by then, you know, for all we know, Father Time catches up to him, and he's not able to do it as well as he could. So there's that fine line there. But at the same time, right, if you're Denny Hamlin, you've been doing this for so long, running at JGR, and you can't win a championship, maybe it takes something drastic. Maybe it takes a drastic measure to finally get, a championship, or just to change your luck, change something around you. So would I be surprised? No. But do I think it's going to happen? No. That's my.
Well, okay, he stays at Joe Gibbs, but at the end of his career, when he's not really, I want to say he's not competitive anymore, but he's not in championship contention anymore, he could go to his own team and drive for his own team to develop the car. Not necessarily to win, but just to develop the car and get sponsorship money too.
But that's funny because you said sponsorship money, because Bubba, he pulls the most sponsorship.
I can believe that.
And if Hamlin were to drive for himself and not be able to get another charter, would he kick Reddick out?
I think he could get another charter.
He would get another charter. I don't think he would kick Reddick out. There's no way that after everything that they've gone through the last couple years, just getting that all put together, I don't think there would be any chance in hell that would happen.
Yeah, because that would be the ultimate you-know-what move by Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
So, once again, Joe Gibbs Racing and Denny Hamlin agreed to a multi-year extension. Personally, I think that Hamlin is going to finish out his career at Joe Gibbs Racing, mostly because I don't think he wants to deal with the hassle of getting a new charter for a third car at 2311. And if it were to be a third car, he would buy it from Gibbs and take the 11 with him. But we're talking about alternate realities right now, honestly.
Well, that's what makes the show entertaining.
Yeah, a little multiverse of madness. Did you get that reference?
It's like what I sometimes I like to think what numbers would have been if Senna was still around and it was Schumacher versus Senna in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Right. But we will never know because we don't know the multiverse.
I did an estimate. I had Schumacher. They both win 6 championships, but Schumacher actually had a slight edge over wins.
Interesting. Sorry, I was just looking at diecast quantity production lists, and someone posted that the Shane Van Gisbergen car from Chicago, the clean version, the 164 version, was canceled. But now they're saying it's back online for pre-order.
They should make up their freaking minds.
I got no idea what's going on. Anyway, so on to Kansas. Friday night, Christian Eckes with a wild overtime restart to get the win for the Truck Series race. Matt Crafton and Matt DiBenedetto were the two drivers eliminated from the round of 10.
The math.
Crafton made us look like a bunch of idiots, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They'll have that sometimes. As of today or Friday, the round of 8 drivers for the Truck Series are Corey Heim, and this is seeded 1 through 8. Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, Grant Enfinger, and Carson Hocevar. If the championship race was today, those would be the 4 drivers who would compete for the championship. And then 5 through 8, Zane Smith, Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, and Nicholas Sanchez. 1 through 4 are only separated by 8 points. Heim is only 8 points above the cut line. And Smith, he is tied with Hocevar in points. And Nick Sanchez is 16 below the cut line. So really, anybody from Heim to Rhodes can get in on points. Sanchez is going to need some extra help. But any of the drivers who are in the round of 8 can make it into the round of 4 for the championship race for the Truck Series.
That's a close championship right now.
Oh, it's wide open right now. Just you wait.
So
it's funny.
Craziness.
Every career mode I ever play when I'm in the Truck Series, in NASCAR heat, when I'm in the Truck Series, Christian Eckes always ends up becoming my rival. I don't know why. It's just like a feud starts between both of us.
That's funny. Guys, if we were to pick the championship for today for the Truck Series, who would they be?
Give me Carson Hocevar, Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Zane Smith. Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the exact same thing.
So one more time, you said who?
Hocevar, Enfinger, Eckes, Smith.
Hocevar, okay.
And if you want to get really crazy, then switch Zane for Corey Heim and exactly how they run in the points now. But I just don't see Ty Majeski or Ben Rhodes having enough momentum to really pull themselves out in front of those guys. I mean, they've each got 1 win, and you look at the rest of the guys, they've been a lot more consistent. And Corey Heim, Christian Eckes, Grant Enfinger, Carson Hocevar, and Zane Smith, all multi-win seasons this year, and just far more consistency right out of those top 4 guys. So it'd be tough to see Majeski or Rhodes get in there, but you never know. We'll see what happens. Eckes, important note here: out of the guys that are remaining, Eckes and Hocevar, they both have 3 DNFs, which is the most out of everybody. So if at any point, right, we saw a lot of issues this past weekend with certain drivers, and Martin Truex Jr. didn't even really get a fair chance at it because of those issues. And so now they're behind the 8 ball. Don't be surprised if we see one of these big guys get behind the 8 ball early, and it affects the rest of their playoff run.
So for my championship 4 for the Truck Series, I'm going to go with Corey Heim. Go with Eckes. I'm going to go with Zane Smith. Oh, man. I'm going to go with Enfinger. So I've got Heim, Eckes, Zane Smith, and Grant Enfinger.
Smith?
Smith.
Smithers.
I want to see Stingray Robb go into NASCAR. Now that's a good NASCAR name.
It's a great,
like Lawless Allen.
It's an even better IndyCar name, honestly. So
that's 2 of the best names in racing: Stingray Robb and Lawless Allen.
So, as we said, the round of 8 for the Truck Series is pretty much underway. When is their next race? Their next race is Bristol this coming Thursday. So tune in on FS1. So that should be a good race. Bristol is always a good race. So that is going to be entertaining. And then Saturday, John Hunter Nemechek won the Xfinity race. It was his 6th win, if I remember correctly. Let's double check. If the playoffs would, obviously load for me.
I need Jeopardy music.
I know, right? Could just give me more editing to do. Yeah, so it was his 6th win of the year, and Austin Hill clinched the regular season championship at Kansas. And so the round of 12 for the Xfinity Series is underway this coming Friday at Bristol. So as of right now, the round of 12 drivers are John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Sam Mayer, Chandler Smith, Josh Berry, Sheldon Creed, Sammy Smith, Jeb Burton, Daniel Hemrick, and Parker Klickerman. Guys, who are our first 4 Xfinity drivers to go out?
Chris, you go ahead this time.
All right. I need to look at this myself.
I can go ahead and give you mine while he's looking. I'll say it's hard.
It's hard to look at. It's hard to make a decision when you don't have a list.
It is, isn't it?
In front of you.
No, that's fair. So for me, I would say, man, Cole Custer's not making it. I'm sorry.
Whoa! Wow.
Cole Custer's not maybe not this round. I'm just kind of looking at who we have here. Maybe not this round, but he won't make it to the championship 4. That much I'll say. The 4 drivers that I believe.
I was about to say.
The 4 drivers that I believe are going to get eliminated, after Charlotte. I mean,
this is
I'm
tough.
not going to say, Sam Mayer's going to get eliminated. I'm sorry.
You think Sam Mayer's going to get eliminated?
Yeah. Okay. Pencil me in with Sam Mayer, Jeb Burton, Daniel Hemrick, and and Chandler Smith.
Whoa. So you
Yeah.
think Parker you think Parker Klickerman's going to get in and Sammy Smith is going to get in?
I think Sammy Smith is the one that I would interchange between him and what's his name? Why am I blanking right now? Between like him and Creed, yeah, they're very interchangeable. Or him and Chandler Smith, they're very interchangeable. Like Sammy Smith, I just feel like he's a wild card. It's like 50-50 whether or not Sammy Smith's going to be solid, and it's just tough for me to see Jeb Burton be solid. I feel like Daniel Hemrick just doesn't have it right now. But I mean, for God's sakes, he definitely has the opportunity to prove me wrong. So, apologies if he wins the championship. You can blame me. That's fine. But I have faith in Parker. I believe in Parker. Believe in Parker. We'll see if he can get it done.
All right. Here's mine. My guys to be knocked out. Let's see. Creed, Jeb, Hemrick, not Henrik. I had a teacher named Henrik. And I have to say, I want to say Mayer's going to make it, but I don't think so.
You can put Mayer in. You're going to put Mayer out.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
I think Clank.
All aboard! The Hate Sam Mayer train is now leaving the station.
I think Parker makes it. The Burton boys are just have been notoriously inconsistent.
Yeah. All right. So I was in a little bit of a bind with my last pick, but for my first three, I've got Jeb Burton, Daniel Hemrick, and Parker Kligerman. And then this is the one that gets interesting because I think Sammy Smith is going to go through. I think Sammy Smith will make the round of 8. I was torn between the last 3 drivers, Chandler Smith, Josh Berry, and Sheldon Creed.
I don't think Sheldon Creed makes it.
I don't think Creed makes it either. So I'm going to go with Creed. So Burton, Hemrick, Kligerman, and Creed.
Have you noticed Creed's official portrait?
Yeah.
He looks so nerdy there.
It's because he wears the glasses now, and when he was in the truck series, he didn't used to wear the glasses.
I mean, me and Jacob wear glasses, and we don't look any dorkier than the next person, but he looks really dorky in his picture.
If Sheldon Creed, if you see this, we mean no offense.
He's a good driver.
Oh yeah.
And he has
Guys,
a cool name,
it just dawned on me because I was sitting here and I wanted to make a point about Jeb Burton because I was going to say, if Jeb Burton makes it, I wouldn't be like, where's Talladega at for Xfinity? Xfinity doesn't race at Talladega anymore in the fall. So it's not on the schedule anymore.
Hold on. No, they don't. Oh,
they don't race at Talladega in the fall anymore. I just sat here and found out that news because I'm like, wait a minute, that's coming up. And then I'm like, wait, that's not on the schedule. And I'm like, wait, have they always not raced at Talladega in the fall? Like, am I losing my mind? No, they don't race in Talladega in the fall this year. At least not
they did the past couple of years. Oh man,
the Truck Series does. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, the Truck Series. Oh God, what have I just uncovered? The Truck Series goes for this. What? So for this upcoming round of the playoffs, it's Bristol, Talladega, Homestead, and then that's it. Phoenix. What? I cannot believe the Xfinity is not going. That is like. How did I not figure that one out before? That's so sad. Sorry for the realization. I was just gonna. point out, like, Jeb Burton's got a solid chance with Talladega mixed in, and instead they're going to Texas.
Oh, what have you done?
That sucks.
I'm not changing my picks.
I'm not changing mine either.
One, I'm too lazy.
I'm not changing mine either.
I'm too lazy to think about it again. Two, I'm still pretty set.
I
I'm
at least
stubborn.
wanted to try and give Jeb Burton that benefit of the doubt, but knowing that there is no Talladega, I'm sorry, Jeb, but your playoff stay will be very short.
Those Burton
Oops.
boys are inconsistent. What is it about them?
I think it's in their blood.
Yeah, Jeff kind of had some inconsistent runs, and Ward could have been all over the place.
All right. So now that we've talked about our round of 8 picks for both the trucks and Xfinity, let's talk about Sunday with the Cup race. Tyler Reddick gets his 5th career win, his 2nd of the season, and first at Kansas with a wild overtime restart. That was a fun race.
I thought I was kind of bored at the first part of it, honestly.
Well, if it makes you feel
you can find. Go ahead, Jacob.
I was going to say, if it makes you feel any better, my pick from last week only made it 4.5 laps. So, it wasn't a great day to be a Truex fan.
Hey, don't say I didn't warn you. I said straight up before you picked him, this isn't MTJ's week. I'm not feeling it quite yet. Guess what? It wasn't MTJ's week.
It wasn't. But
I'll tell you what, it was. It's good to see the multi-groove there. I love watching multi-groove racing, and Kansas has become so entertaining for that regard. But I love watching Kevin Harvick run the very, very bottom, and then you've got Kyle Larson run the very, very top. All of those different groups, I find it very interesting. I would say my only gripe with the whole race is just how easy it was for the 2 leaders to just be stupid and side draft the hell out of each other, and then the guy in third just goes right on by. I mean, that Reddick move, while it is awesome, we only saw it a dozen times yesterday in order for somebody from third place to get the lead.
Yeah.
And so at some point, it's okay, that's awesome, but at some point, Jesus, I've just watched it 12 times in a row. So it kind of I don't want to say it hurt the ending because it's a great ending, but what would have been probably a fantastic move, 3 wide for the race lead, he gets it because we watched that nonstop. Didn't have the same effect when it actually happened at the end. So, but nonetheless, great finish. I've been sitting here clamoring half a season about races not finishing under green, races, all that sorts of stuff. So I really can't complain much here. This was exactly what I could have hoped for coming out of Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the ending was an exciting ending, but really for me, the big thing was the Goodyear tires. How they failed.
Couldn't tell you why. It's not like there was 2 big tire failures yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, that was bad. And it's Truex, and who was the other one?
It was Bubba.
So 2 playoff teams got messed up by a tire failure, which that's bad. I don't like that.
Not much you can do about it.
Job with it.
Yeah, just crap happens, honestly. And that's Kansas.
Yeah,
we see that a lot at Kansas.
That's true.
Whether it's the tire failures or just playoff drivers getting screwed up at Kansas, we just see a lot of chaos at Kansas.
That's true. And Kansas is kind of a wild card race.
It really is. The whole round of 16 is kind of a wild card. He's got Darlington, which is tough track. Kansas, also another tough track, but it chews up playoff drivers more than anything. And then you got Bristol, which is just chaos the entire night.
The world's fastest conveyor belt.
I love it. And Speaking of tire failures, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Martin Truex Jr., he is now on the playoff cutoff line.
By no fault of his own.
I know, and that's as of right now, the 4 drivers who are out of the playoffs are Martin Truex Jr., Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Michael McDowell. Truex is 7 below the cut line. Bubba is 19 below the cut line. Stenhouse is 22 below the cut line, and McDowell is 40 below the cut line. Wallace and Stenhouse are pretty much going to need a Hail Mary at Bristol to get in next week. Truex, he can definitely make it in if he has a good enough car, but Bristol is not his best track. If I remember, they said yesterday his last top 5 at Bristol was in 2011, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. But Michael McDowell, he will need to win next week. I picked him to go through. I don't see that happening. But good points day for Joey Logano. He is looking pretty solid for right now, unless he has a catastrophic failure at Bristol. So we could be looking at Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr. One of those 3 all past champions of the sport being eliminated, or if Christopher Bell or Buescher has something go wrong, they could be eliminated as well, with all 3 champions that I just mentioned being going through. But we won't know until Saturday night. Like I said, it's Bristol. Cannot wait. I will be there. I will be at Bristol. Going to be a great race. I'm really hoping, because last year was an awesome race, even with the tire failures, which honestly, they didn't seem too noticeable on track, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. How are we feeling about Bristol?
Oh, always. Bristol, for me, I know we've talked about before, crown jewel races and stuff. Bristol, to me, has always kind of felt like one of those. It's always been one of the most important races of the year, and especially where it's kind of the end of summer, beginning of the fall. You know, Bristol's just always come at a really good time, and I love racing at Bristol. You give me the night race at Bristol, tensions are high, everything's much higher. I mean, I love it. It's a wonderful race. My favorite driver threw a helmet at Matt Kenseth in this race, and ever since that day, I have fallen in love with this racetrack. So for me, Bristol, it's really exciting, and I think that we're really going to get a good points battle and a solid points battle, because now you've got some of the guys that are close to that cut line. You talked about it, Jacob. Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr. 3 guys that are each a champion in this sport. You know, they all know how to win in this sport. All 3 of them. It's hard to argue whether or not one is going to be better than the other. But personally, right, I look at Kevin Harvick. I think maybe Kevin Harvick gets a little redemption after last year. Everybody remembers what happened last year with the Hendrick Motorsports feud. Maybe he gets a little bit of redemption. I wouldn't be at all surprised, right, to get to stage 3. Truex has had a solid night. He's in position, and Harvick is the one who's maybe 2 to 3 points out, but he pulls out the clutch and gets the victory. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Now, in a perfect world, all 3 of them make it into the playoffs, but you never know what's going to happen. But that being said, if there's anybody that was going to fall off the wagon as far as getting involved in a wreck or just something bad happening, it's probably going to be Christopher Bell. I don't know why. I just have that feeling. If anything's going to happen, it might be to Christopher Bell. So that door is going to be open for Martin Truex Jr., but ever so slightly at the expense of one of his Joe Gibbs Racing teammates. However, I feel like that 19 has shown that they're stronger throughout this year. As we've mentioned, multiple times in the first round of this playoffs, things that are completely out of their control, things that they can't really do much about. It's unfortunate, right? They've got to make the best of it. I think they have a solid run at Bristol. No top 5s in a very long time. Maybe that changes. You know, he's been getting better at short tracks, but, you know, as much as I would love to say this is a Martin Truex Jr. win week, I don't think it is. However, I don't think he gets eliminated this weekend either. I expect a good fight between him and Harvick, and honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if the both of them make it in and Bell gets knocked out. Part of me really wants all 3 of them to make it in. If I had to pick between Logano, Harvick, and then MTJ, I would most likely pick Harvick to get knocked out between the three. So it's tough right now.
Yeah.
However, I'd love to, if I had to pick the one that I want to get eliminated out of the three, get Joey out of there because I said he was going to get knocked out in the first round anyways. So get Joey out of there. Keep Kevin in, but we'll see, man. As you can tell, there's a lot of excitement and anything could happen. I mean, just Bristol Night's exciting in itself. Add in everything going on with the points, and it's even more exciting.
Yeah, for me, I have Busher and Bell. No, I'm sorry. Busher and Logano falling off the wagon. And I can see both Harvin and Truex making it. Like Mason said, I don't think Truex gets eliminated this weekend.
Yeah. So I agree with both of you. I don't think Truex makes it through. I think that Truex makes it through. That's better. But I don't think that Harvick makes it through. So that's where I'm coming from. I don't think that Harvick makes it through, even though Bristol is one of his better tracks. But if I had to pick one, that I wanted to get eliminated out of the few that we mentioned, it would be Logano. Logano. But Bristol is one of his better tracks. I saw him win the 2014 Bristol Night Race. I was there. It sucked because Jeff Gordon wasn't up there running for it, and neither was Larson. But it's going to be interesting Saturday night. It's going to be interesting Saturday night. It really is. So it's going to be my third Bristol Night Race. I'm so excited for it. Haven't been to a Cup race since Bristol last year, actually. Maybe we could see another Chris Buescher dub. Wouldn't be shocked to see if Buescher wins there like he did last year. But I honestly expect a Roush winner. If I had to pick one, I think Brad Keselowski is going to win Saturday night.
Okay.
I'm feeling a non-playoff driver. I don't know why, but I'm just feeling. I think it's because Bristol can be a bit of a wild card sometimes. But, I don't think we get a first-time winner, but let me look.
Say, don't put me in too much of a weird position because I'm not gonna see. I really like Kevin Harvick this weekend, but I'm not gonna. If you two are gonna pick two guys that haven't won yet this season, I am not tripling down on that. You just gave me free reign of everybody that hasn't won a race this year, okay, or that has won a race this year, okay. Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I was about to say. Now, see, if I picked Larson with the past. With last week with Truex, it's not going to go over well because he's going to DNF on lap 10, but I don't have to worry about that because he's already won.
Yeah, I can't wait until next year when we can maybe actually no, maybe if they bring back the spring Bristol race and it's not on it. I miss when I could compare it to the spring race, be like how they do there in the spring, because now I can't do that because it don't matter because we raced on dirt.
Stupid.
It's not the same thing. Chris, did you figure out who you want yet? I've been stalling for a minute over here.
You know what? I'm picking. I'm torn between. You know what? I'm gonna go with Ross Chastain.
Okay.
Bold
pick this week.
Non-playoff driver.
Are you expecting him to rub it around the wall or what?
I'm expecting him to get somebody riled up and end up winning something old school style.
Him versus Denny? Let's do it.
Please, God. That would be so funny.
That's what I would expect happening. I mean, none of us have sat in here and picked Denny Hamlin, but he's probably going to be the guy that walks away with the victory this weekend if I had to guess from
I
can't say what I was going to say.
I can honestly see Larson putting Hamlin into the wall.
That would make my year because of how much crap Hamlin has done to Larson this year. But biases aside, if there were two drivers that it would come down to at Bristol, it would be Larson and Hamlin, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I think we have a surprise winner.
Okay. Mason,
if I had to pick a winner, I'm going to go Kevin Harvick. I like Kevin this weekend.
Okay.
I feel like that win's coming soon. If it ain't here, it's going to be Dega, and if it ain't at Dega, then it's going to be Phoenix. If it ain't at Phoenix, it's not happening. So I'm just telling you right now, his opportunities are running thin. I don't, I feel like I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I really like Kevin Harvick this weekend.
So what you're saying is he'll either win or he won't.
Pretty much.
Well, yes. I'm just saying that we've got multiple races this year. We've got, Charlotte Roval. We've got Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville. I really feel like his chances are best at the 3 races I just listed. This upcoming weekend at Bristol, Talladega, and I think he has a good chance at Phoenix. But outside of that, I think Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, I'm not saying he's going to run bad there. I'm just saying that everybody else is going to run better. It's going to be guys that run better, especially at Vegas, especially at Martinsville. There's going to be guys that run better. Hendrick Motorsports is going to come out and wallop SHR when they get to Martinsville, and Harvick's not even going to have a chance. So he needs to capitalize on these opportunities that he has to win. This weekend's a big one. Give me Kevin Harvick to hoist the trophy, maybe for the final time in his career.
Okay. Solid. Completely going against what I said, but you know what? That's fine. That's why we debate about these things. One quick thing before we wrap up with Bristol. Dale Jr., he will be in the Hellman's car this weekend for the Xfinity race. I tried to go to that, could not get the time off of work, but it's fine. So just one little thing, like I said, before we wrapped up with Bristol. Dale Jr. will be in the Xfinity race on Friday night. Should be a good race.
Mayonnaise car.
Mayo. All right. One last thing before we wrap up for today. And I just saw this from Bob Pockrass. He expects that the 2024 Cup Series schedule to be released in the next 2 weeks or so. What is one bold prediction from each of us that we can see on the 2024 schedule?
Although it's not really
Montreal.
bold. Yeah. Okay.
They go to Montreal.
Although it's not really bold, but they return to Wilkes for a regular season race.
So I agree with both of you. For
next year?
I think that North Wilkesboro is going to get the spring Bristol race, and Rockingham is going to get the All-Star date.
I was thinking 2025 will get Rockingham back.
I'd also say this, another big, bold prediction. I'm not going to be at all surprised to see an Iowa Cup race next year.
I'd be for it.
I think it lends itself to like, I want to say just I feel like the track itself will be better for the car. It's not going to be perfect. It's obviously a short track, but it'll at least be a little bit better. And match it with the fact that we saw when they did the IndyCar, just the ability to put suites up that were able to be taken down and everything like that. That ability there and what they were able to turn that track into just for one weekend, it showed a lot about what they can do in the future with NASCAR. So I'm not going to be surprised to see them on the schedule next year if they pop up.
Another doubleheader, since the Brickyard's probably going to be coming back.
It's funny that you say that because I think the Indianapolis Oval will be back next year. I think that we will have a doubleheader weekend like they did a couple years ago at Pocono, but I think it is going to be
Pocono doubleheader was underrated.
It was extremely underrated. I think it's going to be Oh God, I think it's going to be Richmond
I don't think IndyCar wants to go
because
back to Richmond.
What?
I don't think they're going to want to go back to Richmond.
Why?
I'm just because to me they left for a reason, and I don't know if the new car how well it'll race at Richmond too.
Well, the spring race, it was a great race. The summer race, it sucked.
Wait, are you talking NASCAR or IndyCar?
Yes. I'm talking NASCAR.
I'm talking IndyCar.
Since when?
Well, you said something about a doubleheader at Richmond.
Yeah, do 2 races in one weekend like how an IndyCar does it.
Oh, I was talking about NASCAR. A NASCAR IndyCar doubleheader.
I don't think that'll happen next year. But the only reason why I think that they will do 2 races in one weekend is because the Olympics are next year.
That's right. I forgot about the Olympics.
So they'll have 2 weeks, a 2-week break to give NBC and USA all the coverage they can.
Good point. You know what I would pray for with
What's
the new
that?
TV deal? I was thinking about this the other day. Random thought, but I'm praying that they start doing the rotation of the Daytona 500 because I just want to see NBC have the Daytona
awesome.
500. Just once have the Daytona 500, and plus, like, because they would send out all of their guys, like their main guys, like Mike Tirico would be down there. Like they would send a lot of the main guys, and
Danica.
NBC would put on a great show for it. I hope to God they get to have at least
Danica
one.
would be there. It's true. That would actually be awesome. But we won't know until what? At least 2026?
I'm happy with
Maybe a
Fox
few years.
doing it.
All right. Do we have anything else to add before we wrap this up, guys?
No, I think I'm pretty much said all I want to say.
I think I'm good. For anybody wondering, in the fantasy update, Jacob is still kicking our butt. I did gap Chris a little bit. He was behind me by about 6 or 8 heading into the weekend. He's now behind by about 30. So some work to do for him. We're both at least 100 back from Jacob. So a lot of work to do.
Well, it's because I picked Truex and Bubba.
Well, it also helped that I picked Hamlin, Larson, and Reddick for Kansas.
I almost picked Reddick.
My big kicker was picking Bubba.
For me.
Yeah, that would have.
Big kicker for me was really just picking Reddick, and then obviously I also picked Chris Buescher. I didn't pick Reddick. I'm sorry, I picked Wallace and Chris Buescher. So those were the 2 kickers, not Reddick but Wallace. So bad week for me, but hey, we'll get Jacob back in the coming weeks.
If this is F1, I'd probably get Jacob. Although, what if we did a fantasy where we're not allowed to pick Max Verstappen or Sergio Perez?
Oh, how interesting that would get.
That would be interesting. Anyway, guys, you can find me on social media on Twitter and Instagram at JWBarker24 and on BSP with our motorsports section. Got a couple articles coming out soon. Another championship seasons. Finally got that thing wrapped up. So hoping to have that up soon. Guys, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at CJS_the line. And you can also find me on Back Sports page. My name, Christopher Shoemaker. And what about you, Mason?
You guys can find me over at Mace Hollywood on Twitter. And then if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, mace.wood01. If you guys also want to check out my articles over on the Back Sports page, it is officially football season for some of us unfortunate souls out there. So if you guys want to check out my page up there on Back Sports page, talking a lot of football right now, also doing a little bit on the NASCAR side, but mainly talking about the football right now. So make sure you guys are checking that out if you guys are big football fans. And unfortunately, go Bears.
Could be worse. Could be a Dolphins fan.
Hey, they won yesterday.
Yeah.
And they won
They
pretty
did.
damn good. They looked real good. I was actually watching those highlights before the show today. I watched the condensed highlights on NFL Plus. Check it out.
All right, guys.
I expect them to pull the Cowboys.
And what? Win 40-0 like they did last night?
No, actually start giving people hope, then just implode.
That'd be funny. All right, guys. Once again, this has been Jacob Barker, Mason Wood, and Chris Shoemaker for coming to the line. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And once again, as usual, have a great day. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye. Make new
Peace
friends.
out.
Stay in school. Don't do drugs.
Nah.
Nah.